This is the command that we will use, and then what we will just get is the activation key. So we'll just replace this here, this context here, with our activation key, our trial license key. So how do we get the trial license key? Um, Very simple. Just Google Cloud Linux trial, and once you're there, um, open it up, and then just add your add your information here. Make sure you can get you can receive an email for the email that you will add here. And once that's done, you should be able to receive an email something like this from Cloud Linux mailer. Welcome, whatsoever trial. So they will then ask you to confirm, then just click this out, click this, and once you've clicked that one, you will be redirected to the login page. So, or I'm not really sure though, let's probably just click this. So yeah, it will redirect it to the login page, and then or the confirmation page, and then what that once done, once your account has been confirmed, then just go to this link here, which is the login to their client area, and use the email that you've used, and then this is the password. Don't add this one, just this, the after the equals symbol. So use that one, and once you're there, you should be redirected. Once you've logged in, should be redirected to this page, to their services, their dashboard, products page. So if you're not redirected to the products, then just hit the product tab here, and here is the activation key that we need. And let's go ahead and replace this with the license key, and let's get it on. So let's remove that and this. Don't worry, by the way, guys, I'm going to add this code to my in the description below. So just copy that one, and you should be able to follow along. So just paste that one, and then just hit enter to execute the activation. So now it's running. I'm just going to post this and be right back when it's done. So finally, it's done. For those who has probably small server or a minimal resources, I'd recommend you to use scene scene application, so that in case, especially when your connection is excuse me, is not that fast, then I recommend you to use the scene command, so that the installation will not be interrupted. Okay, so let's get started for the um, next step is to, of course, reboot the server. So let's go ahead and reboot the server. Just um, type in reboot and then just enter within your SSH. So as you can see here, my Bitwise has rebooted and it should connect here once ready. So if you're not familiar with this SSH client, I suggest you check out my full course. I believe I have mentioned it here or here in the part 4 and part 5. So yeah, so let's go back to here. It's now reconnecting. Let's just wait for a couple of seconds. So I believe we're now back. So as you can see here, the status dashboard or whatever it is called, authentication completed. Now we can press on the new terminal console. Let's go to the terminal, and here, as you can see, warning, you are inside live. To log into the WHM root, visit the address in your web browser. So if you restart any service, the stability of your system will be compromised. Change the users group to wheel to safely use sudo. Okay, so I believe Cloudlinux already has taken up access to the server. So here is the link. It automatically generated a link for us. Cloudlinux did that so that we can log into the our WHM, which we already did earlier, but let's just see here, and maybe it will redirect us to, or maybe they just want us to log into our WHM. So let's try to go and find Cloudlinux. So as you can see here, we already have a Cloudlinux manager. Let's press on that so that we can continue on the settings or the setup. So this is how it should show when your installation has been successful. Let me know in the comments if you have this kind of dashboard, but if you don't have, I highly suggest you go um, to my community forums. Just go to here. Let me check here, community.mariaDB.com, because when you use, you can you can do use the commenting system of YouTube, but the problem here is that if there's a lot of people already com commenting which is related to the video, not just support, then it will be a bit overwhelming for me to respond. So the best option to get a faster reply from me is for you to submit a thread or a post in the community forums. So just submit there if you have any issues, errors, send the screenshot there. I will then get back to you as soon as I can within 24 hours. This is a free support which is related to my videos, so I highly suggest you submit there if you have questions so that we can fix it up for you. So now, thank you for installing Cloudlinux OS. Thank you for installing Cloudlinux. The wizard would help you configure all of the components. So if you're ready, I'm ready, then let's get started. for the setup. Start wizard. So let's see here. Of course, we want to install this. By the way, I have not explained earlier why you want to use Cloud Linux. You want to use Cloud Linux because it can protect your other websites, especially when you're using um, multiple sites or hosting multiple sites within your server. This is a good application or a plugin for cPanel because let's say you have website 1 and you have website 2, and then website 1 is has a lot of traffic. Let's say it's you have not monitored it, and then it was unfortunately got hacked, or maybe it just got a lot of traffic which your server cannot handle anymore. And for that website, if you have not installed Cloud Linux with CageFS, then it will turn down the website along with other websites in the server. But if you have Cloud Linux with CageFS, then it will only turn down the website 1 that we have discussed or mentioned earlier. So yeah, it will protect, it will kind of cage it in within the cPanel user account. So as mentioned, if you are not going to host a lot of cPanel within your WHM, then you don't really need Cloud Linux because it will just, it's not really that, what do you call this? It's not useful. But I believe it's also useful though because if your website get hacked or maybe for the cPanel user, then it will not affect your overall server's performance if you have limited it to just a percentage of resources. The thing here is that Cloud Linux can manage limits as detailed compare I mean much more in detail compared to limiting it using multi-PHP manager, or is that the feature? I believe it's multi-PHP INI. So, yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It can protect or cage up your cPanel user so that the the performance or the resources um, when it's being exhausted by any means, it will not affect other cPanel users. This is not the case if your website is installed within the same cPanel. This is only protected by cPanel per cPanel. So yeah, that's it. So let's continue on. Install Cage enable by default for new customers account. Yes, of course. And by the way, guys, if you're providing a shared hosting service, this is also very much recommended. I've used this in the past and even now with my publishing business. I'm using this for my own sites, even I don't provide any more hosting service. And also it also makes it very easy for you to set up to install other modules for cPanel. So instead of you running it via SSH, um, you can just use this wizard to install it for you perfectly. So if you want to use the Lightspeed technology, not the whole, what was that? The web server. Probably this is probably just an add-in for performance with Cloud Linux. This is Apache module based on, yes. So it's an Apache module based on Lightspeed Technologies API for PHP. So if you want to take advantage of that, then you can um, check this box here. But as you can see, we are not we cannot check it off because there's this module in Apache that is enabled, which we will have to disable to make this work. So just copy this one and go to um what what is that? EasyApache 4. So the server is not working at the moment, probably because it's too heavy for it to manage Cloud Linux. Just do note, guys, that you should have at least 8 gig of RAM when you want to use Cloud Linux. So since this test server only has probably less than 4 gig of RAM, so that's probably why it's being interrupted. It's it's getting it's being overwhelmed by the resources that we're using. So let me probably fix it first and then we'll continue on with this tutorial in a few moments. So now I'm here back to the video here in EasyApache 4 section of WHM. So it's still loading the profiles here. So let's see. Um, Also, it's also checking for updates. So here, guys. So this is how it shows. If you can see something like a Cloud Linux here, plus the features. This is what you called a preset profiles. So what I would recommend is you to provision, let's probably just use the Cloud Linux default, cPanel default. So you can use this. Let me check here. Yes, default. So this is the one. So here I recommend you to provision this because we will use this one for this demo and tutorial. So let's provision this and let's just wait for a while to make it complete. And in case you don't have the preset profile, I'll I'd recommend you to um, just copy this one. We'll just disable this for um, manually in Easy Apache. So what you would do is to go to Easy Apache 4. So here, and then go to the customize, and then this here in the modules section, and just paste the one that we've copied here. So and then just disable this, and then next, and just go to review. Instead, jump to the review section, and this is just showcasing you what you have, what changes that you made, and here it's showing you what the features you have enabled for this profile. Then you just need to press the provision, and it should be disabled by then. But since we have used the preset profile, then as you can see here, review of the package about to uninstall, so it will be uninstalled. Let's see here. So package, it's the same thing as you can see, right? But the nice thing about using the preset package is that they already set up the right settings for you in for the EasyApache to be compatible with Cloudlinux. So that's the nice thing about it. So let's going to provision that. This is the preset package that we've selected to be provisioned. And by the way, if you don't have the preset package, don't worry about it. Just disable that as I showed earlier. And then if there's any issues you encounter, which you don't see here in the video, make sure to submit a thread in the community, and the community Mawix dot, let me show you instead. Wait a bit. Here, go to my community forums. So submit a thread there, and make sure to submit also the screenshot of your error, so that I can check it out for you, investigate, and as much detail as possible, make sure to provide it there. And just send over, or if you don't have any errors, you just want to um, cheer me up, then just comment down below. So I think the provision has been completed. The provision process is complete. So now let's hit done here. And then we can then continue to our previous tab, which is here. And what we want to do is to refresh the page. This is, by the way, the wizard of the wizard for Cloudlinux. So let's just repeat the one that we've agreed earlier, which is to install the CageFS. And then as you can see, it doesn't show any issues anymore here. So we can just enable this one. But when we enable, there's an error here, or there's a note here. Wait a bit. Mod so whatsoever is not installed. It is recommended to use with mod as whatsoever. It is also required for CRIU to work. Please see. Okay, so they are saying to install the mod suisec. I cannot read this. Probably just try to post this and let me know in the comments how you can read this, guys. So here, so number one, we will need to install this. Let me check. One, since I cannot copy it, then we'll just probably type it. And then the next, let me check. It is recommended to use with mod LS API Lightspeed API. It is also required for CRIU to work. Please see. So let's just jump into this link here. Maybe there's a nice instruction that they provide for us, and just keep this module name handy. We will going to install probably that. So what we want to do is to just hit ctrl find and paste the module name so that we can you can find installation instruction here. So we can find where within this documentation where to find how to install that module. So as you can see, it finds it, which is this line here, and then you can find the installation instructions. So just hit here so we can start our installation. Let's just read a little bit here. Installation. Certain process varies depending on the control panel and Apache. Installing a cPanel with EasyApache 4 via command line. We want that one. Or is there really an administrator interface already? So let's see the. Okay. So it's here in the Apache, by the way. So let's try to do that. Let's find it here in the EasyApache. They already have that one here. I wonder why it's not enabled. Or maybe it's been installed already but not enabled. I wonder why, because it's already a prerequisite profile. We have already used the preset profile. Shh. Hello, hello. Shami. So let's go to the modules, and is it the modules? So as you can see, it's already installed. And then why is that? Oh, my mistake. Maybe it's just a note. It's not installed. It is recommended to use with. It is also required for. It's not installed. Why is it saying that it's not installed? But it's installed in here. So let me check here. PHP extension. Is there anything we can find here? I think there's no. Let's probably just what do you call this? Disregard that. But let me check. Let me check again instead. Wait a bit. Is not installed. Mod. It's not installed. It's recommended to use. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Command line. So manager follows. So let's probably try to run the command line installation. Maybe it will detect it. Let's just try it. Install through yum package. Install. This is Apache 2. Is it? Or maybe we will need to restart the Apache service. Yeah, I believe. Probably that's why it cannot detect the new settings. So let's try this, guys. I'm logged in with my Bitwise SSH client. So I have restarted that one, and then let's refresh the wizard here, the Cloudlinux wizard again. I'm so sorry for my background music. Jammy. It's still showing the note, but never mind though. Let's probably just cross the issue, cross the line when we get there, or what's that saying again? Cross the bridge, cross the line. What the fuck? Anyway, let's probably just cross the bridge when we get there, or let's deal with the issue if there's any. Will return, and if there's an error, we will encounter later on related to this, because it's already installed here and I'm not sure why it's not detecting. Oops, sorry. So as mentioned, let's probably just install this, and okay, we also, by the way, want to migrate SQL to MariaDB. So let's go back here, open a new tab, and search for SQL. And we want to upgrade our MySQL to MariaDB. I believe I already mentioned this, or I've already created a tutorial about this. Let me check here. Clear. Okay, so we haven't yet created a tutorial for MariaDB upgrade. Let me check. EasyApache 4 configure cPanel. Okay, so now is the time we want to upgrade the MariaDB. Okay, so I have not added it here. Upgrade database or convert MariaDB. Oops, sorry. So we will also need to migrate or upgrade to MariaDB because it's faster. It's a faster database. I don't know what it is called, but it's MariaDB. So let me check here what's the stable which is compatible for Cloudlinux. Let's just see here. So it's saying recommended for here. So let's probably just select this one, and then we need to first upgrade before we convert our OS to Cloudlinux. So as you can see, strict mode. So we want to just select strict mode. Critical MariaDB dump client includes logic for stable. You can't use dump client from an earlier release. Okay. Make sure also, guys, this severity with the status of critical, make sure to also read this to learn more. I don't really recommend you to what do you call this, to select this or continue on with this migration if you're doing this within a live server. But if you're still setting up a new server, which is what we are doing at the moment, then you don't have to do this. But I highly recommend you to, of course, read the documentation related to it so that you can understand before you proceed. So continue. So after that, we can then interact. Upgrade options automatically completes the upgrade process. The option steps you through the upgrade process. This process includes the update of MySQL whatsoever. Okay, we'll probably just use the unattended upgrade. So now it has been completed. So let's move over back to our to here, the installation of this module. I actually changed my mind, guys. Let's probably just try to install this since it's just a few seconds to do. So let's just copy this command and go to our SSH, and let's go ahead and run this. And also kindly also make sure you read this note. So we've already disabled this module earlier in EasyApache, but it's telling us that we need to remove it. I'm not sure if the remove they are saying is to disable or completely remove it as an option. So let's just check it out if it returns an error here, since they're saying that it's conflict to that module. So let's just hit yes here. By the way, guys, if you're curious about this stuff here, as you can see, it's unmute. This is not my recording tool. This is a conference call or a co-working call that I use, that I'm a member of, which I use for productivity. Um, I have I have um, co-working mates here that works with their own business 24 hours a day, 10 hours in the weekend. So yeah, we keep our camera on while working each day, while in the session. This helps with your productivity as a business owner. So this is I use. So if you want to join me here, work with me, hop in. I'm gonna share the resources or the details in the comments. So hop in if you're interested. I'll see you in the session tonight. Okay, so it's still not work. It's still so slow. Then I'm probably just gonna post this and then be right back when it's done. So it's now complete. So let's go back to this page here, the wizard. Let's try to probably wait a bit. See here. Should be so let's go back here instead in the documentation, and then let's try to restart Apache via the command. So if you're concerned with the commands that I've used, guys, just probably and post the video. You're free to post a video, or else check out the written or my blog related to this video. I'll probably add all the links there where you can find this. And if I have the time, I probably can provide all the codes that I've mentioned in this video. So it's done. So let's once again refresh the wizard, and then let's just select the previous ones that we did. Go back here, activate this, activate that, activate this as well, and then we're now please create a full database backup, including, okay, let's just agree that to that we don't really need a backup, because we are setting up this feature, the Cloudlinux, on a new server. But if you're setting this up with a live server with users in um, live sites, then it's really recommended for you to back up your whole database. I will probably create a tutorial for that in another video, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to get an update or updates for the next future videos. Enable node, yes, I will do that, even though I'm not using it, but I will still do it, still use that one. So choose versions to install. I want to install the 3 latest versions. So I think these are the ones. 3 latest versions is choose versions, okay, and then the default will be the most the least value. I will also enable this. The same thing, I'll use up to 3 level version, latest version. Profitability, what's this? Allows end users to select. Yes. Enable. Okay, so they are showing probably what it means, the profitability. It means that if you're I'm not sure, this is not um an official guide, or this is just my opinion. Probably this is Cloud Linux has a note here that this feature um, is your way of saying to the customer that, hey, I have this kind of features, an added feature to make your offer featured rich. But for this stability, this is a way to Cloud Linux saying to you as a provider that this will help you for stability. This is stability and performance as well. Security for the CageFS feature. This is very smart, for Cloud Linux developers. They make it very simple for the users. Same thing here. Okay. Configure PHP. Setup will be okay. So that's the same thing. I'll select, or I enable the 3 latest versions, and then I will enable also the selector and finish it up with hitting the finish and install. So let's just wait for here. It's currently installing, as you can see here. So while it is installing, let me share with you guys. By the way, I have read on this here. After the provisioning, we have skipped or missed another step to refresh or to force update the CageFS. Here, if you use CageFS selector, you should run. We'll probably try running this later on once the install is done. So that it can, that's probably why it's not showing, but I'm not sure because because they're saying that if you use CageFS, but for the wizard, they will be enabled together at once. So I'm not sure if they're saying that if you enable this together with the CageFS, then you have to run this, or else it's already enabled and then you have enabled the Lightspeed API feature. So I'm not really sure. It's up if you know what they mean, then kindly let me know in the comments. And but yeah, after the installation of Cloud Linux, after this one here, we will still try to run this command to make sure that the updates are applied, and then we will reboot the server. So finally, it's now completed. So let's check what else do we need to fix in case there's anything that returned an error. So I think it's already everything is all good. So okay guys, so what I would do once this is all done here, um, you want to create a package. So we have a default package here. So let's say you want to provide a shared hosting service. So based on my business in the past, I offer reseller web hosting. I use my own server to provide that service. So what you want to do with Cloud Linux is that you can cage each users through this user tab here by editing this default user here. This will make it the values here, the limits you propose here will automatically um, change or apply to all the users you have enabled with Cloud Linux CageFS feature. So you just this is the default value. So you can change this. Maybe it depends upon your what do you call this, your resources, or maybe the platform you're using. So let's say we are using WordPress. Although I do use WordPress for all my sites, then we'll probably just make that for the example. So let's say WordPress. So WordPress, I believe you want to go to the platform website. So let's say the CMS is WordPress. We want to know what the values you should add here is. You want to search for the requirements of a certain CMS or the website you are using for, or maybe all the majority of the websites that is using your server. So let's say for mine is WordPress. So I want to go to WordPress requirements. So I want to search for the WordPress requirements and see what RAM, CPU, and many other requirements related to the resources I should set up my each users for. So the users here is related to cPanel users. Okay, so whatever limit you specify here will be applied to all the users in each cPanel. So let's say I have here, as you can see, the list. Let's open the list section. excuse me. So I have here a user Mawix. The domain is mawix.xyz. So the package it is using is the default package. So we'll we'll just um we'll just go through the packages later on, but first we want to focus on the users tab. So here, as you can see, I have it here, and it should show the users of your cPanel users from this list section. It should show here as well as users. So if you want to set up a default, the default, as you can see here, the default package for all the users, you wanna edit this default user here, which usually is just maybe if you cannot see it, just select this show all and then just scroll down up to the bottom and you should be able to see the default user, and then just edit this and change the value based on what works for you. So in case you don't know, as mentioned earlier, what I do is I analyze what websites I am hosting in majority. So let's say in the past I've been a reseller hosting provider and a web developer related for WordPress sites. So most of my clients use WordPress and WHM because I also provide reseller hosting packages. So most of my clients provide WordPress hosting and also they use WHMCS for their billing system. So that's my focus when it comes to the platform that I should be um, that my server should be compatible for, which should run smoothly in regards to those platforms. So what you want to do is to, of course, as mentioned earlier, search the platform's requirements. So let's for example WordPress. So let's find an information. What is the ideal requirements or resources we should use to support running WordPress as smooth as possible. So as you can see here, here are the WordPress requirements. So your server must run at a minimum or greater so of PHP 7.4, MySQL or MariaDB, which we already have converted to MariaDB, and then we in the previous videos in this series, I've shown you how you can install or use 7.4 versions or greater, how you can change it for your PHP. It should be here. It should be available in the series, as you can see here. Disable SMTP multi-PHP default settings, so it's here. Um, let's find other information related to resource. Recommend Apache or Nginx. So in the next video, I will discuss with you how to use Nginx in your cPanel server. So stay tuned for that. So the next thing you want to also consider checking out is what the Cloudlinux guys um, what the Cloudlinux guys offers in regards to their limits. So they also do recommend have a documentation related to their to how you apply the limits here. What are the recommended for for a specific website? This is the one that we need. So
typical hosting account. So this is probably not ideal for WordPress. Based on my experience, this default one, which is lower than their default here, before this is the default one that they are using. So this limits, you can use this for those websites that are running HTML, not with a CMS. So for the CMS users, WordPress, many other WHM whatsoever, WHMCS, um, this is probably the right or the recommended settings for high-end hosting accounts. So let's say you are a you're a shared hosting provider. So this is recommended for you to create a package for. So you want to create a package for typical hosting account. Maybe this is your basic hosting, and then this is your premium hosting. So this has more um, extended resource limits, and this is the basic offered resources. So you can use this, or else if you have WordPress with that consumes a lot higher resources, like let's say they are the same thing with my other sites. It has automated features, like for example the newsletter. It sends automatically on a daily basis for a lot of subscribers through my newsletter. And there's a lot of resources that is consuming. um, a lot of my websites are doing that. So what I do is, for my sites, I use, since it's my personal server, I don't host it. I don't provide hosting anymore as a service. Then for my personal internal sites, for blogging and for company branding, and with newsletters or so, I usually use 2 gig of speed to 200% speed, and then for the RAM here is 4 gig. So this is basically what it looks like for all my starter sites with newsletter. This is not the this is not how it looks like with my main sites that already has a few traffic. So if it already has a few traffics, let's say 1,000 to or more, I just gradually increase them. Okay, so I gradually increase them. Let's say, for example, for my website, I believe I have 6 here, and then I have 10 here for my Mawix site. And for here, so for the basic hosting, or maybe for you as a starter, I would recommend you to start from here. Start from this one. And then for here, make it 10 for all. This is other than the speed and memory. Just copy what I show here. So for this, you can make it this one, and then 100, and then 500, or maybe this is a 250. Yes, so this is what I use for my starter sites. And if it's already getting traffic like 1,000 or so, I gradually increase this for maybe this one and then that one, double per whenever I see a crash. Because if your account it consumes a lot of resources already, it will crash. It will not and also Cloud Linux do sends you a report that, let's say, some users all over the world are not visiting your site, um, don't get your sites. I mean, they were not able to visit your site because it crashed. It crashed because the resources is limited. So when you receive that kind of email from Cloud Linux. So that's the that's how you know that you need to increase your limits. But just make sure as well though that if your site don't have a lot of traffic and it's still consuming a lot of resources, it crashes all the time. Maybe it's time for you to check or investigate why it is happening. Let's say maybe you've been hacked, um, you're using a lot of resources because of a plugin that is buggy or not a good fit, then you should probably change that to another alternative one that is much better, that is that is running better. So how do you know that that kind of issue? So what I recommend for you is to use Ezoic technology. So I'll leave the link in the description. So just try to register for an Ezoic account, even though you won't be able to, you're not going to use it for monetization. I think maybe I'll probably ask them, or maybe I'll try to check out the their the dashboard later on, and I will share it with you in another video. They have this technology that they can um, run a scan or check or monitor or investigate your website, that they will show you the plugins that you must remove or change, and they will also tell you what is the alternative for that plugin to be used by your website to make it much more um, what do you call this, to make it to have a better performance and to remove all those plugins or technology that you don't really need and which makes your site slower. So yeah, that's what I recommend you to do in regards to investigating, which is the most simplest method that I know. Instead of you hiring a developer, let's you probably just use the technology that almost everyone uses, the professional bloggers in the industry, and they also offer support. So it's it's probably the best deal you can ever have if you use Zoic. So if you're um if you're interested, kindly check out the link in the description. It's a referral link. Uh, if you ever decided to work with Zoic, monetize your site with Zoic, then I'll probably get a little commission from there. But for this video, for this purpose, you don't probably need to monetize, or it depends if you need to be monetized to use the technology. So yeah, that's what I do. And also, if you want to, so let's say if you're providing a shared hosting service, so I what I do in the past when I use one server, which I use or I host my personal sites with along with other users, I use the packages to to customize the limits. So let's say for example, I have a package. I create a package for the basic hosting um, account, and I also create um, a package for the high-end hosting account, and I also create my own package for my personal sites and business websites, which I which is separated from the users or customers. So for that, in that package, the same thing as in the users, we have a default one here. So this default one, you cannot edit this because it is it's the same thing with what you have set up through the default user package. So why is it if you're wondering why is it showing in the packages, probably they just want to show you what the default users limits or resources will be. So let's say for example, if you have a package of three, let's say probably I'm probably just if you have package of three, let's say you have a package of three here, and one is number one is the number one package is basic package. Number two is high-end package. And the number three is um, your personal. Okay? So this is for your customers, right? So this is for your customers. So this is a lower price. Let's say it's a $5 per month, and this is the $10 per month sites or package, and this is yours. So this is your sites. So these are your sites. So you will then customize each packages. So let's say whenever you create an account for yourself, you just select the package based on the personal. So let's say it's here. So for this demo server, we only have a default package. So if you go to packages, here, if you add here, let's say you add here basic, oops, sorry, basic, add, and then you add as well high, which means high end, and also personal. Okay, so we now have customized three packages. So we now have three personalized or customized custom packages. So these are the default users packages. So what happens to the default? Let me check. me show you here. So what happens here is that for your personal sites, it's really up to you. As mentioned earlier, I've already shared with you what I use as resource limits to my personal sites, and it will just be up to you what you wanna use for your customers for the basic and the high end. I recommend you probably to just follow this or else my personal approach. Maybe you can follow the this for the basic. Just leave this for the HTML websites. This is for the WordPress sites and anything that is using CMS or content management system. And for those sites that are coded or just using um, light resources, you can use this package for those sites. Um, so let's go here. So I'd probably use this for the basic as mentioned, and then for the high end, it will be the same thing as my personal. But when my site grows its traffic, or maybe I have more features, or maybe it crashes all the time without issues related to viruses or so or hack. Maybe I will just gradually increase per user or per packages. It depends. Maybe I'll just, when it comes to customizing or increasing, I'll probably just use the user tab here because because sites are not really, it doesn't grow all at once. It grows based on each industry or depends upon if your site is lucky, maybe. So continuing on, so here is how it looks like in the packages. So here is the user. So this is where you manage per user limits, and this is where you manage the per packages limits. So if you're providing a shared hosting, then I probably would manage my user limits here or the limits of my per packages here. So as mentioned, I'd recommend you to use this package resources that Cloud Linux has offered here for the high-end hosting for your basic and the high-end personal. It will be the same amount. These are for the CMS accounts or sites. So let's say WordPress or any other content management systems, they are using those. Then you wanna offer them the high hosting package. So instead of the basic. So it probably up to your business model. Let's say if you're as mentioned, if you're a shared hosting provider, it depends on you if you want to have a, let's say, if you want your users to um, consult you for what package they should use. So maybe I'd recommend you to, if you show this basic hosting package in your site, if you offer this one, probably add there a description with recommended for lightweight sites, okay, or low resources sites. And for the high end packages, um, You can then provide there for WordPress sites or for high-end CMS sites, so that your clients can can decide what should be their packages to use, what should be their the right package for their sites. So yeah, that's it. And again, I also want to mention about the default one. So whatever is showing for the default package here, let's say this, for this, that if you want to edit this again, it will be done. You can only done that in you can only do that in the users tab. So this here, let's say if you increase the other packages, this will not be this will not apply to the default. Let's say if you want to customize the basic, high, and personal, let's say for these packages. So what is the use for this default? The use for this default is that, let's say you are providing a service of reseller hosting. So the reseller hosting, let's say it's a high-end the high-end host, the high-end package, you are providing it as a reseller. So let's just internally think about that one. So instead of high, it will be this package is a reseller. So what happens is that when you provide that, when a user, when a customer registers this package from your website, so they will be, it will show in their what do you call this, in their cPanel that they are registered as reseller, or this high end package. So what happens is that if they create their own customers, they will not the customers will not be it these packages that you provided for your reseller customer, this will not be applied to their customers which is under them. Under the customers under them will be default into this default package, okay, unless they create their own custom package. So yeah, that's it. So just in case, I just wanna actually explain my thoughts about this one, because it really doesn't I was also confused in the past about this, so I just want to share it with you. So what else do we need to? So again, for the users, if you want to increase per user or per site, you wanna increase it here. And what else? What else do I use Cloud Linux for? So yeah, that's how I use Cloud Linux. So probably let's move over to the settings. So I want to show you the dashboard here. Dashboard. So for this, for here, by the way, and hitting limits. For here, by the way, these are the dashboard. For this, hitting limits, this is saying that your user has hit the limit. So this is my user for logging into my server. I don't know why this is showing here, but I'll probably just disregard this if you're not using. I mean, you'll probably just disregard this because you're not using that as a cPanel user. Just disregard that one. And wait a little bit. Oh, I missed this one, by the way. Let's go to our terminal. and log in there. And I miss the one that we've mentioned earlier after to force update. So this one, let's also probably apply this. Oops, sorry, I need to um log in as. Oops, what's going on here? Let's probably just use the terminal from here instead. Oops. And let's run this command. Done. So just to make sure that we didn't miss anything else. So yeah, because we've missed it earlier when we provisioned from the EasyApache. So let's close that and let's move forward to Cloud Linux and check on the other settings there. So here, current usage, or you can see the usage here. Let's first go to the options. Check on all the settings live. So for here, um, we probably want to, as a hoster, we are the hoster because we are the administrator or the root owner. So just select this one. So if you're providing a reseller hosting, I'll probably just enable the reseller here so that your reseller can be notified in regards to their users usage stats. So next here faults to include. So this is the settings where you want to monitor the what statistics or what do you call this? I believe statistics is the term. What resources you want to monitor the by Cloud Linux. So let's say if you only want to enable Cloud Linux for memory and speed, CPU. I believe this is for the CPU cores or core, and then the memory, the RAM, and you don't want Cloud Linux to monitor the IO, and all of this other settings here, then you can just disable it here. But for me, I'll probably just leave it as is and go to the next one. Next block is minimum number of faults to be notified. So this is for how you manage the notification for those what do you call this, the faults, the monitoring. So for hosters, you can find email templates. So you can customize the templates from here. Folder, translate, create a copy that folders desired local. I don't really do this personally. Notifications for reseller without limits will work with the same frequency. Okay, so as you can see here, every notify user. So this is this is the default notification schedule. So for me personally, I don't really customize this one. I only do customize this here, which users I want to be notified. That should be fine with here with what's default. inode limits. So for the inode limits, I just keep it as is, which is disabled. And user, I hide the user usage statistics. Though these are the it will show if you don't hide them, it will show them in each user cPanel. Your limits based on your Cloud Linux feature or Cloud Linux plugin. So it will show here, but it will probably be I probably would show it here if I'm sharing or what do you call this? If I'm providing a service which which I am what do you call that one? Recommending or maybe promoting my my resources to my users. Let's say um I want to promote that, hey, subscribe to this hosting package because we offer a lot of resource extended limits. We offer high-end hosting compared to GoDaddy, um, whatever popular host provider is available, and you can show it show it to them transparently in their cPanel, which probably would boost your trust as a provider for your users. So I recommend that if you want to do that. But for me, and also by the way, if you implement that type of transparency, at least your customer will know that if they already hit or if they already um, reach those limits, it will be they will know when is the time to upgrade for a higher resources or maybe a VPS or a server from a shared hosting package. So that will be um, a good way for you to get another sale from them or an increase um, monthly income stream from your existing users. So I probably enable this instead. But if you are if you're not promoting that transparency, then probably just hide it because most of the issue or the issue that I've encountered from the past in regards to that is there will be a lot of questions that your customers may not be able to understand um, immediately or and it will be a waste of time to explain it to them, which is why I hide it. And if ever let's say if there's a high-end customer, let's say a website that is consuming a lot of resources, and I offer them to upgrade for a higher resources. Then once they've upgraded, I will then show them the statistics. That's when the time that I show them, which is I do it based on customization. And for that, I will probably create another video to show you how I do that. So, um, so yeah, that's it for the for this usage statistics. So also let's oops, sorry. I also don't pro I forgot. I don't hide the Ruby app. And for the for this MySQL governor, so this is I'll just leave it as is CageFS. Then new users, of course. Um, let's toggle this one to make sure that the new users will be enabled. New users will be disabled by default. Um, New users will be enabled by default. So make sure that what the message here is saying that new users will be enabled by default. And let's also click on the update to make sure that we didn't miss anything. This button here, by the way, is the same thing as what we have for this command, I believe. That's the same thing. Once that's done, then let's proceed to the other block here. List of the Node.js. So it's already installed, but if it's not installed for you, the same thing as the previous options we did from the ones that we've installed when we are installing Cloud Linux, just make sure to enable or install the first three latest versions. And the one that we've selected earlier when we are installing is the least is the last, or I'm not sure what's the term for that, but anyways, it's the third to the last, or third to the earliest version. The earliest version will be my default setup or settings. For the Python, so it's the same thing. We've already set that up when we installed Cloud Linux. So I believe we're done within the option tab. Let's proceed to the selector here. So as you can see, there's no errors. But in case you have some errors, guys, don't hesitate to comment down, or else if you want a faster response from me, I suggest you go to the forums. Just go to my about page. There should be a link there to redirect you to the forum, to the community support forums, and just submit a question there. And make sure to also include a screenshot of the error and as detailed as possible so that I can investigate and help you out. So here, we're now here in the selector section. The main settings will be enabled. Yes, it's done. So we want to default PHP version to 7.4. Okay, not the native one, because it won't be, I don't know, maybe that's just what I do. So 7.4, hide PHP extensions for end user. I don't wanna hide it so that they can actually do it on their own. They can, if you're a hosting provider, then you will end up getting a lot of tickets or support from your customers. So you I probably would not hide this one so that they can just select it on their own. Hide my domains page for end users. Nope as well. And native default PHP version. Yes. Default for so for the 7.4, um so that's probably this is where you set a default extensions for your PHP, guys. So let's say you wanna select, or you wanna set up a default extensions, which you will be enabling the extensions for them to be compatible for the services, the commonly used services, like for example WordPress and WHM. So if your users majority of the time, or mostly users use WordPress, so you can then just research for that, what extensions should be enabled for WordPress, then you select them here. So this panel default, by the way, guys, is the default settings that Cloud Linux already has set up for you. So in most cases, though, it should be compatible with WordPress, because WordPress is commonly used by users, and I'm sure Cloud Linux already know that. So probably the panel default should work for you. But for me, as a hosting provider in the past, um, my users don't just use WordPress, they use a lot of other scripts or whatsoever. That's why I had to enable everything so that I don't have to attend to their tickets, a lot of tickets, because I'm the only one who is assigned for the server management. So yeah, that's why I enable it, but I don't really recommend it if you don't have a basic, or at least basic um, server management skill. So probably you should be able to work on WordPress if you just use the panel default. And the same thing as the others, but let's probably just use the panel default for now. And if there's any issue, then once you go to a WordPress domain, just probably just enable the they call this the display error, and WordPress should probably show there what extension is missing, and you can then just enable it here. That's probably the best way you can work on that. And so yeah, let's probably just use panel default, and then um, leave it as is for the other ones, and then let's go to the domains here. So this is where it shows the domains that is hosted in your server, but it's but not using Cloud Linux. So this is where the users, it should show here the users that are using Cloud Linux. But for this domain, it's not
using the Cloudlinux. So how do you make this use the Cloudlinux? So once you're in this section, the list of your users, go to the user that you want to enable the Cloudlinux PHP selector for. So as you can see here, it's showing domains that are ready to use. They are currently using multi-PHP manager, which is the default PHP manager built in for in cPanel servers. So we want to use the Cloud Linux PHP selector here so that they can be caged. The user can be caged by the limits that we've um, set up within Cloud Linux. So how do we do that? So here I am already in the what do you call this? The cPanel user, the Mawix, and just search for the PHP manager here. So go to the PHP manager and make it. Wait a bit here. It's now. Let me see here. Let's probably go to instead PHP select PHP version instead. So after it loaded, it automatically enabled the domain to using Cloud Linux PHP selector, as you can see here. So when we go to the and when you go to the selector tab in our WHM server, the cPanel server administrator account, as you can see here, it's not showing that the domain is using the Cloud Linux PHP selector. Let's try to refresh it. Cloud Linux PHP selector use. But in the cPanel, it's saying that it's already using it. This is probably a bug. I believe it's probably a bug. So here, as you can see, here, user should select any other version than native for using all functionality. Okay, so it's saying that the user must not use the native one. So let's set this to current 7.4. And now let's try to um, refresh it. So to activate the user for using Cloud Linux feature, it is not recommended, or it's actually not compatible with using native. So that's the reason why we have defaulted the PHP version for new users into 7.4 instead of native. If you can remember earlier when we've set it up. So now, as you can see, it's now showing in the administrators area, while in the users area, probably this is a bug because it did not detected that the user must be using that the user is not compatible because it's using the native earlier, the native current PHP version. So probably just disregard that one. This is the right setting, so it's now detected by our cPanel server that this user is now using Cloud Linux. So yeah, that's it for that um, section. So the next one is let's check on the website monitoring. So for this guys, I'll probably just create another videos for this. To be honest, I don't really use these features. These are new features from Cloud Linux, but I don't really use them. Um, since I don't use this, I will not include this settings in this video, but maybe I'll just create separate video in each section because there's a lot to explain in regards to this. But I did, though, explored this features. I know how to use them, but as mentioned, this tutorial is only for my recommended settings for Cloud Linux for your cPanel server. And since I don't use this and you don't really need this for now, then let's just skip this one. And I believe that's all for this video. And if ever I miss something, kindly let me know in the comments. And of course, once again, thank you for tuning in with me for this long video. Um, See you in the next one. We will be discussing, or we will be, I will be walking you through how to set up Engine X, and then yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Take care.